Welcome everyone to Monza. It's the Temple of Speed and the home of Tifosi. We're here for the Italian Grand Prix here in 2022. It's 26 degrees, a bit of a scorcher here in Monza today, so let's go down and have a look at the track. It's a 5.7 kilometer track with 11 turns and 2 DRS zones with 7 to the right and 4 to the left. It's a very flat track, so lots of opportunities for overtaking at the end of every long straight into a chicane. So I'm going to head over to Jack Marshall for the grid.
Thank you, Sam. We had a very interesting qualifying yesterday afternoon with Charles Leclerc taking pole position, Lewis Hamilton P2. That's an absolutely amazing performance by Leclerc, and he'll be wanting to get ahead at the start of the race with Perez, then Sainz P3, P4 with Russell, P5, best of the rest Norris with P6, Alonso, and then Ocon, the two Alpines P7 and P8 with Gasly, and then Ricciardo in P10. P11 we have Tsunoda with Mick Schumacher P12, Kevin King and Vettel. Vettel did great qualifying yesterday, Magnussen, and then Bottas, Zhou Guanyu and Stroll with Verstappen in P19. A terrible qualifying for him with Albon getting a penalty after blocking Stroll in Q1.
Yeah, that's bad qualifying from Max Verstappen, not really what we've seen from him on form all season long, and we're going to go down to the formation lap. But yeah, bad qualifying from Max Verstappen. That's not what he's going to want for the coming race, and especially to try and hold on to his championship lead when he's at the back of the grid and Charles Leclerc in prime position to get the 25 points, which is more than what he needs to overtake Max in the championship.
Yes, I mean, as you would remember yesterday, he had a lot of trouble through the first chicane, turn 1 and turn 2, which definitely compromised his entire lap, and he'll be trying to go from the back and overtake all those cars to get back up to the front to get those crucial points.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be aiming for his start to be pin perfect, just to try and get ahead of these cars, to not hold them up any more than he wants them to and he needs them to. But we're here for the 5 red lights for the Italian Grand Prix here in 2022. It's lights out and away we go. Charles Leclerc gets a good start. Lewis Hamilton gets a similar start. George Russell coming over to go for another move. And Charles Leclerc coming over to cover off Lewis Hamilton. Carlos Sainz going down the inside of Lewis Hamilton. He's getting boxed in between Perez and Sainz. And a bit of contact between Hamilton and Perez. And Sainz goes through on the outside of Lewis Hamilton. And it's now a Ferrari 1-2 at the start of this race.
Yes, that 3-1 to the first chicane. It was an epic battle. Here we are seeing Daniel Ricciardo looking around the outside of Kevin King. He does not manage to go, but here comes Kevin Magnussen going down the inside, taking that place from Daniel Ricciardo. That's amazing opportunity finding from the Danish driver. I mean, he saw that opportunity and he took it. Back to the battle in the first chicane. That was an amazing scrap between the 3 drivers. I mean, Carlos Sainz, he managed to stick it down the inside, and that allowed him to get it on the outside of the chicane, which gave him a better exit and getting ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Yeah,
that's great stuff from Carlos Sainz, but not what Lewis Hamilton would have wanted, starting on the front row and down to P3, and he's going to have to try and hold on to that against Sergio Perez, which we know the Red Bull historically is very quick in a straight line, so this should be one of their strongest tracks. And Lewis Hamilton's going to have to hold him off as Charles Leclerc puts in the fastest lap, which, as we're now focusing on Yuki Tsunoda, and going up and trying to go for the overtake on Esteban Ocon. He's going to go down the inside. They're going towards turn 1 now, and he's going to try and go down the inside of Esteban Ocon, and he will make the move stick. Gets up into P8. Great stuff from Yuki Tsunoda, but Ocon's coming back at him. Great stuff from Yuki Tsunoda.
Yes, and here we are seeing Max Verstappen. He is at the back right now behind the Alfa Romeo. I believe Zhou Guanyu. He is going, he will probably make a move here. Yes, he's trying to go over on the outside and make contact. Broken front wing. There's a broken front wing left end plate for the Dutch driver. I mean, that will severely compromise his race. I believe he'll have to pit.
Yeah, I think he already has pitted, and yeah, you can see he's a good 30 seconds behind Lance Stroll, but that's really not what Max Verstappen wanted, starting at the back of the grid, and he's now pretty much done for in this race, unless he can absolutely haul them in by the time the pit stops come around and get within 20 or so seconds of Charles Leclerc. by the time he's got to pit. But yeah, that's really not what Max Verstappen needed at the start of this race.
Here we are seeing Esteban Ocon and Yuki Tsunoda scrapping it out. Esteban Ocon going down the inside. He is not managing to get ahead of Esteban Ocon, but DRS is now enabled. They'll be tucking into that slipstream to try and make that move stick. Here we're following Kevin King, who's right behind it, getting a great view of this action. Yuki Tsunoda goes down the inside of Esteban Ocon into the first corner. Does he manage to stick ahead? He does not. They'll be going through the chicane, and it seems like Yuki Tsunoda gets a better exit. Kevin King following behind him, but does not manage to overtake Esteban Ocon. That is not a great start for Esteban Ocon. He was really compromised coming out of that chicane.
Yeah, I mean, even though he's only lost, 1 or 2 positions, yeah, it's really not what Esteban Ocon would have really wanted. But this track is very strong and very helpful for DRS. So what Yuki Tsunoda's just done to him, I'm sure Ocon is going to be trying to get right back at him. But we're focusing on Kevin King as well now, knowing Williams is one of the fastest cars in a straight line. And yeah, we're gonna see that he's got DRS and he's coming up against Esteban Ocon and Yuki Tsunoda, but he just doesn't really have doesn't quite have the speed to get them at the moment.
Yes, I mean, this is super close. This is the battle for the 10th position here. Pierre Gasly tries to go to the outside of Kevin King. He is tucking in the slipstream, but Kevin King gets more downforce going into that corner, going to the inside. He manages to hold the AlphaTauri driver off, but they're going onto the main straight. All of them will have DRS in this DRS train. Esteban Ocon goes down the inside of Yuki Tsunoda. He does not manage to get ahead, but here we see Pierre Gasly getting ahead of the Williams driver, Kevin King, going down. This is a massive scrap. They'll probably be going too wide here, Kevin King and Kevin Magnussen. Oh, but that's a 3 wide. Pierre Gasly loses out in that scrap. He loses the front wing, and so does Kevin Magnussen. This is absolutely terrible for both those drivers. They'll both have the pit safety car deployed. That is an astounding result for that battle. I did not expect it to go that way.
Yeah, no, Kevin King going trying for the right and go to the left, and yeah, you can see Kevin King gets a bit crossed up, and Kevin Magnussen as well, and he just couldn't stop himself from being able to just kind of, he had to force himself down the inside there. We're now going to focus on the view of Pierre Gasly going around the outside of Kevin King here, and he kind of gets boxed in a little bit by Esteban Ocon. And yeah, Kevin King's just run out of room, and Kevin Magnussen's run out of room, and Kevin King. It's too many Kevins around here. Yeah, Kevin King just kind of boxed Gasly in, and they were just kind of forced into one another. Yeah, we're now focusing on the view from Kevin King, and he goes to the right and he has a little tap on Kevin Magnussen, gets it a little bit crossed up, and kind of pinches Gasly in, but that was in Kevin King's blind spot, so I don't really think he wouldn't have been able to do too much there.
I wonder if that was some wing damage from Kevin King. It seemed like he may have touched Gasly on like his front left end plate. He kind of brushes Kevin Magnussen as well, so that is some severe contact between all of them. Yeah, there we see Kevin Magnussen's wing just absolutely falling off there as he contacts Pierre Gasly back right tyre, and then they're going 3 wide into a chicane, which you shouldn't really be going three wide into. There's not all that much space in the chicane, which is pretty unfortunate for all 3 drivers. I don't think anyone was particularly at fault there. That was all just a racing incident. It's just a whole cascade of just small mistakes that turned into something a lot bigger. Yes. One thing I do want to mention, though, that Max Verstappen, he's now back in this race with a safety car. I mean, that was his only hope after losing his front wing, and now he'll be at the back, and he's in a faster Red Bull, so I'll be really interested to see what happens to him.
Yeah, and it'll be a matter of if all the drivers decide to pit, because it's not quite up to the pit stop window yet, but they might decide that, you know what, we don't have too many laps left in this race, but and I believe everyone has pitted, but Max Verstappen right back in this race, back up to P6 actually, and everyone's already been everything's been swapped around. Carlos Sainz right down the back, Charles Leclerc still leading this race. Lewis Hamilton back up into P2, and I believe, will the safety car be coming in this lap? Or no, I don't think it is yet. I think we have one more lap behind the safety car.
While we are under the safety car, though, I would like to talk about the retirement of Sebastian Vettel that was announced this weekend. And I mean, that is one of the F1 greats retiring. Here we're seeing Carlos Sainz going into the pit lane. He is currently in 17th, which leads me to believe that the pit stop wasn't the greatest. Yes, here we see he was stuck behind his teammate Charles Leclerc, which slowed him down enough to lose a ton of places. That will eventually probably ruin Carlos Sainz's race. We can see the Alpine of, I believe, that is definitely ruining the races of, I believe, Esteban Ocon, Daniel Ricciardo, and Carlos Sainz. They are all stuck together. Oh, that is a long stop time. I wonder what's causing it.
It'll be just further down the pit. Yeah, you can see the Aston Martin garage moving around, and now the Alpine's been let out, and now the McLaren's been let out, and now the Ferrari can get out.
That is an utter catastrophe for all of those teams. They will be absolutely kicking themselves about that kind of occurrence. I mean, I feel like the stewards would have to look at like what kind of happened there and what caused that kind of wait time. I mean,
yeah.
It has ruined those drivers' races.
I mean, yeah, no, Carlos Sainz in P2 before the pit stops and having a 32.3 second stop, and you can see the line of rear wings. You know, yeah, you got to see the Haas is done, and now the Alfa Romeo's done, and now the Williams is done, and then the Aston's done, and then the Alpine's done, and then the McLaren's done, and only then. So basically, the Ferrari had to wait for the Haas to finish its double stack before anything else could go out.
It was absolute chaos, but the safety car is ending this lap. We are following Charles Leclerc, who's on Lewis Hamilton, who's on Sergio Perez. All three are now tied together. Charles Leclerc got a lead, but now he has lost it with that safety car. Ferrari have not done well with the safety car, but how will the restart go? Lewis Hamilton right behind him. He is waiting, and green flag. They're going racing again. Charles Leclerc gets a good start. He's kind of jumping Lewis Hamilton a bit, but Lewis Hamilton, with that slipstream, may he try go down the inside? We can see some scrapping in the back with Kevin King trying to go down the inside, but no, Lewis Hamilton does not try to make a move on Sergio Perez.
Yeah, no, that's great stuff from Charles Leclerc trying to stay in front there. And great defending from him. And we're now focusing on Max Verstappen just behind the Williams of Kevin King. We saw how great Kevin King's been at defense in the slower car previously this season, but I fear that Max Verstappen in that rocket ship of a Red Bull will probably just breeze right past him, just like he did in Austria.
Yes, from P20 down all the way with a broken front at the start of the race to P7. Max Verstappen is now in the points, which is crucial for this close championship. Max Verstappen is in the lead, but Charles Leclerc is right behind him. And after this race, it'll be even closer with Charles Leclerc in pole position. Here we are following Kevin King, which see in front of us the battle between Valtteri Bottas and George Russell. Bottas got great in the pits. He was really lucky not to be stuck up in that chaos, but Kevin King is trying to go on George Russell. He goes down to the inside. Will he manage to get it in the DRS straight? He's going down the inside and manages to stick ahead, and we see Max Verstappen taking advantage of that, sticking behind Kevin King to take advantage of George Russell, who's now fallen down 2 places. But when Max Verstappen is going down the inside now, and he has the Red Bull straight speed advantage, which manages to stick him ahead. I don't think Kevin King will be trying to fight that through this chicane.
Yeah, I don't think Kevin... Why you say that? Kevin King's going for the move back again, and he gets back ahead of Max Verstappen, and so does George Russell. You know, I would have thought that Kevin King, you know, knowing Max Verstappen is fighting for the championship, and Kevin King, you know, probably not so much, but I would have thought Kevin King would have... I think Williams would have been satisfied with what, P7, but... Kevin King's not satisfied with P6 or P7. He's got to get as many points as he possibly can, and that's that racer mentality. If you can get the maximum, go for the maximum. Doesn't matter who you're racing, doesn't matter what you're doing. You go for the maximum. You get the max amount of points you possibly can get. And we see that with Kevin King in P5 and Valtteri Bottas in P4. You know, leaving Mercedes last year, and, you know, seeing him, you know, compared to Lewis Hamilton, kind of underperforming a little bit. but really showing that he's still got what it takes here, up in P4, and holding off some faster cars as well.
Yes, I mean, it is. Valtteri Bottas is probably really. Oh, and here we see George Russell going down the inside of Kevin King. Max Verstappen is also trying to take advantage. Maybe Kevin King got a bad exit. Here we go into the chicane. George Russell on the inside, then outside, but Kevin King manages to stick him through. Max Verstappen is fighting George Russell, but I believe George Russell got a better exit on the outside, which keeps him ahead of Max Verstappen. This is an absolutely astounding scrap between the three. George Russell trying to go on the outside of Kevin King. Can't keep my words straight in this intense battle with Max Verstappen going deep, and there's contact between George Russell and Max Verstappen. That is absolutely amazing driving. Max Verstappen going deep. Maybe he locked up. What do you think, Sam?
Max Verstappen I think he just got it a little bit crossed up going into turn 4 there, and just trying to come back onto the track. It just didn't. It was just a bit of a hurry to keep the momentum going, and just went straight into the side of George Russell. And I mean, there's only a few laps to go, but George Russell will probably have to do that. And is that Yuki Tsunoda either going off the track, or I think he just got caught in the gravel trap, but he's going to continue going. But that's really unfortunate for Yuki Tsunoda. And
here we see Sebastian Vettel, who has, as we said before, announced his retirement at the start of this weekend. I mean, that is very sad to see Sebastian Vettel go as George Russell goes into the pits. I believe that will be because of the front wing damage and the contact between him and Max Verstappen. Ahead of us, we see, I believe that is Zhou Guanyu and Kevin Magnussen scrapping. Zhou Guanyu manages to stay ahead of Kevin Magnussen, keeping both of those Alfa Romeos in the points. A lot of points for Alfa Romeo. They're currently 8th in the championship. Those points will absolutely help them out, steaming them ahead of their competition.
Yeah, no, this could potentially get them up to 6th place. I haven't quite done the maths yet, but I believe this might be able to get them up into 6th place ahead of Williams. Definitely at least ahead of Haas, but potentially ahead of Williams as well, up into 6th place, which will be an incredible result for Alfa Romeo.
Yes, it'll be an absolutely astounding. As we have said time and time again, those small points are crucial for the drivers at the back, in the back kind of field. And here we see Alex Albon on Carlos Sainz. It's an epic scrap between the two as Carlos Sainz trying to regain the positions he lost under the safety car, with Esteban Ocon trying to go around the outside of Daniel Ricciardo. He managed to stick it through. Will he also manage to get Carlos Sainz? He's had a great exit. Oh, and he gets past Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon. That's 3 places gained in such a short time. Daniel Ricciardo tucking behind him to gain those places, as we can see now. It is now to the DRS straight, where all the cars will be trying to squabble each other to get those positions back before the chicane, but Esteban Ocon has managed to steam ahead. Here we are seeing Sebastian Vettel and Kevin Magnussen. Sebastian Vettel going down the inside of Magnussen, relegating Magnussen down to 9th. The two Hasses at the very fringes of the points, with Lando Norris right behind them to try and gain back positions that he also lost in the safety car.
Yeah, I mean, this is all great stuff from all of these drivers, and great stuff from Esteban Ocon to be able to get through, and to get through all of those drivers. But as we're focusing on Max Verstappen right now, as it stands, Charles Leclerc will be finishing and be 1 point behind Max Verstappen in the championship. As I've just said that, he's made the overtake on Kevin King, made it look like a bit of a breeze, so now he will be 3 points ahead in the championship. But this is great stuff for Charles Leclerc to be winning in front of the Tifosi, in front of his home Ferrari fans. And it'll be great stuff for Max Verstappen as well, just to salvage what points he can, starting from the back of the grid and finishing P5 minimum, and potentially being able to get past the Alfa Romeo as well.
Yes, and here we're following Max Verstappen with behind him Kevin King. We have seen Kevin King has dived into these chicanes with no fear, but he does not attempt to make a move this time. We have 2 laps left in this race. It'll be intense battles all across the field. We saw Lando Norris and Kevin Magnussen in the background squabbling into that chicane. Here we are following Sebastian Vettel once again. Let's talk a bit more about his retirement, but no, he spins. That is absolutely terrible for his race. He's celebrating his retirement a bit too early, it seems. And here we see him like squabbling with, I believe that would be Lando Norris, maybe Daniel Ricciardo, I'm not sure which, but he lost so many positions because of that spin. Maybe he just got on the throttle too early and wasn't able to kind of stick it. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I mean, he was, I assume he was trying to, I assume he just got a little bit too much throttle and couldn't really hold it, but not sure it's quite celebrating his retirement, more just giving the fans a bit of a spectacle, giving them trying to drift around that corner a bit, and I think he just gave it a little bit too much beans. But now we're focusing on Max Verstappen on the last lap of this race, right on the tail of Valtteri Bottas, and I believe he's going to get the DRS because he was behind him at the detection point, and yes, he will. He's steaming ahead of Valtteri Bottas up into P4. This will be great stuff from Max Verstappen to be able to damage limitation and get 12 points after starting 19th on the grid, and yeah, this is great stuff from Max Verstappen what a recovery drive from him today.
An astounding recovery drive. Here we are in the end of this race. Charles Leclerc is winning this.
Yeah, it's he's been leading this race nearly start to finish. I believe it has been start to finish, and he's coming around the Ascari chicane right now. You can hear the Tifosi screaming their delight for their home man Charles Leclerc as he barrels down towards Parabolica. He's got one more corner to go. His fans will be absolutely loving this. Lewis Hamilton, great drive from him today. Great drive from Max Verstappen. But today, it's the man Charles Leclerc comes home to win the Italian Grand Prix in front of his Ferrari fans. And Lewis Hamilton comes home in second.
Come on, baby. Yes.
Boot bop.
Feels good. It feels good. On the other hand, I'm very sorry for the team.
Yeah, he's saying for the team. I think it's for Carlos's finishing position, even though he had a pretty good recovery back up into P12. And I forgot to say, Sergio Perez was able to finish up in P3, and we're now focusing on Fernando Alonso. What's happened here? He's got a bit crossed up and just got his front wing broken up against the Williams there, I believe, probably of Alex Albon.
Yes.
And we're now focusing, this is probably Lance Stroll's incident. He had a bit of a lock-up and then had contact with the Alpine there as well.
Yes, I mean, this is an absolutely amazing recovery drive for Verstappen. Here we're seeing Valtteri Bottas behind Verstappen in the safety car restart. I mean, maybe this is Verstappen or maybe Perez, I am not entirely sure. And here we are watching them going into the first corner after the restart. Bottas goes down the inside and manages to dive bomb them all.
What a dive bomb by Valtteri Bottas.
Absolutely amazing dive bomb by Valtteri Bottas, which manages to stick into the P4 position, I believe.
Yeah, he was sitting in P4 for quite a long time there until Max Verstappen got back past him. But Valtteri Bottas actually finished P5, so great result from him, and great result from Kevin King as well. I believe finished P6 or P7 thereabouts. But yeah, great drive from him nevertheless. And we're now this is Kevin King wheel to wheel with Zhou Guanyu as they're coming towards turn one. I assume he's going to probably try and go down the outs. Oh no, this is Valtteri Bottas. Never mind him. But yeah, Kevin King just kind of followed him through and was able to just stick it up into P6 there. But we're now seeing Ferrari absolutely jovial as the man from Monaco won the Italian Grand Prix in front of the Tifosi, in front of Ferrari's home fans, and you can see what it means to him, and you can hear what it means to the team and to the fans, and you can see how happy his team is for him. But yeah, that's great stuff from Charles Leclerc and great stuff from Ferrari today.
This is drawing the championship closer and closer with these final races. Charles Leclerc getting a podium which he needed. He was 19 points behind Verstappen at the start of this race. Now he is only but a few.
Yeah, I believe he's only between 1 and 3 points short of the championship lead now. But yeah, that's great stuff from Charles Leclerc to be able to win and in Monza for all of that. To be racing for Ferrari and to win in Monza, I believe it's just a special feeling. I mean, you can ask anyone who's won here. Kimi Raikkonen, Michael Schumacher, Sebastian Vettel, and Charles Leclerc. But how are we seeing? Charles Leclerc has won the Italian Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton second place. Sergio Perez third place. Max Verstappen, great recovery drive from him yesterday, and Valtteri Bottas and Kevin King and Zhou Guan Yu, great drives from all of them today. Lando Norris P8, Schumacher and Magnussen, great race from the Haas drivers as well. It's great stuff from all of them.
Yeah, now the Drivers' Championship. Max Verstappen only 5 points ahead of Charles Leclerc. Perez jumping Carlos Sainz after his not good race. So Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, Perez, then Sainz, Hamilton jumping his teammate to get the 5th position in the championship, with Russell in 6th, Lando Norris keeping 7th, Fernando Alonso keeping 8th, Kevin King jumping now to 9th position, jumping Esteban Ocon, who is now 10th. This is absolutely amazing for the drivers of Perez, Hamilton and Kevin King, gaining positions. Red Bull losing their lead over Ferrari after Charles Leclerc's great finish this race, with Red Bull in first, Ferrari second, Mercedes third, McLaren, Alpine, Williams, Alfa Romeo gaining 7th position, then Haas, Aston Martin and AlphaTauri.
Yeah, that's great stuff from all the teams today, and what an incredible race we had today here in Monza. But if you enjoyed it, make sure, guys, to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell to make sure you know whenever we upload next. So we will see you next time.